What's up guys? Welcome back to my channel. Today, as I promised in a previous video, I'm doing my meal prep. All of the meals that I'm prepping are totally vegan. And also I wanna say none of these are my recipes. I'm going to link the original recipes down below. It's just stuff that I found online, wanted to try it, and I figured I would share myself meal prepping them. So let's go ahead and get into it. So the first thing is a salad. It's sort of a take on tabbouleh. I changed the recipe a little bit from the original. So to start, you wanna put a pot on the stove and cook whatever kind of grain you want. I'm using quinoa because it's gluten-free and works really well in a tabbouleh. And I just use the boil-in bag quinoa because it's the easiest to make, but obviously you can make it however you like. So then you just need to chop up whatever you want to go into your tabbouleh. So I did tomato, cucumber, broccoli, and red onion, and arugula for a green, though the more traditional route I think is cilantro. I just really like arugula, so I use that. So as you're chopping those up, you just wanna make them as fine as you can, and then you're going to throw them into a big bowl. And you're just going to mix all of that up in your bowl, add your quinoa in there. I also did pepper and garlic powder just to give it a little bit more flavor. And this obviously is a huge serving. You're not going to eat all of this, but you'll have lots for the week and you can do lots of different things with this. The way that I am prepping it is in a little container. I put some hummus down the bottom and then the tabbouleh on top. And then when I go to eat it, I can mix that up. I might add a little bit of vegan ranch in there just to make it creamy. But you have tons left over. You can put it into wraps. You can put it into different kinds of salads. You can top things with it. It's just a really easy thing to have on hand and make lots of different meals with. And that's our first meal prep. The second thing that we're making are collard greens hummus wraps. Blah, that's sort of a tongue twister. Collard greens are a great replacement for tortillas or anything like that because it's getting a little bit more green in there. But you can use tortilla or even butter lettuce if you prefer that to collard greens. So again, we are just going to start by prepping our veggies. So inside I am adding a carrot and a cucumber. You wanna cut these long ways into tiny strips. That way it all will sort of fit in there the right way. I used half a cucumber and a whole carrot. Half a cucumber because it's just sort of thick, so half goes a long way and you can save the other half to prep later in the week. And a carrot is a little bit thinner, so you can use the whole thing. And you should have enough there for probably 4 or 5 wraps, depending on how much you add in there. To actually prep the collard greens themselves, what you wanna do is sort of chop the ends off of them, obviously whatever stem is there, and then the recipe told me that I should blanch it really quickly, so I just put some water in a pot and let it come to a boil and just let it sort of sit in there for 20 seconds just to soften up and get easier to wrap. Once you have those blanched, you can pull them out and then it's time to assemble. So I just put hummus inside this one, but you can also add avocado. And then you're going to lay down your vegetables and then all you have to do is wrap it up, and this tastes so good. I love dipping mine into some vegan ranch, and obviously adding avocado when you eat it is preferred. This is one of those things where you mostly just want to prep all the vegetables and then assemble the day that you're going to eat it because it is hard, or even the night before would be totally fine, but you don't want to let that sit in the fridge for a few days assembled. So that's why I just packaged everything up separately and it's in the fridge ready to be assembled at any moment. And there you have it. That is our second meal prep. Now the third thing I'm prepping isn't a full meal in itself, but it is really delicious. I just wanted to make some more tofu. If you guys saw a previous video, made tofu for the first time recently and I loved it. So I actually found this recipe where I don't have to press it, which is awesome. Another great thing about this recipe is that it's oil-free, which is always preferred. That way you just don't even have to worry about adding in those extra ingredients. The less ingredients, the better. So all you have to do is take your tofu, extra firm, and you're just going to slice it into steaks. So once you have them cut into steaks, you are going to place them onto a pan and just let them sit there. Do not touch them, leave them alone. I left mine alone for 4 minutes. After 4 minutes, you're going to come back and you just wanna check and they should be nice and browned up. You can flip them. The second side will cook even faster, so keep an eye on them around 2 minutes and then probably they'll be done around 3 minutes. You basically just wanna get those nice and brown. Make sure you're cooking in a non-stick pan because otherwise it will definitely stick to the bottom, especially with no oil there. And once they're browned, all you have to do is add the sauce. I'm using a vegan teriyaki sauce. You can also use the sauce that I showed how to make in my previous tofu video. I'll link it down below. It's a really easy sauce to make, and really you can use whatever sauce you want. With the teriyaki, you wanna move really fast because since it has so much sugar, it's gonna caramelize really quickly. So I just put about a tablespoon and a half maybe on there, and I just mixed it up, let all the sides get caramelized, nice and saucy, and that's it for this one. I recommend saucing like half of the tofu when just frying the other half. That way you can just sauce up the other half when it's ready to be used. I think this tofu will probably stay good for 2 to 3 days with the sauce on it, and even longer without. So I figured that way you can spread out the amount of time the tofu works. And again, you can use this so many ways inside wraps. You can serve it with some broccoli and mushrooms. Just throw those in the pan with the teriyaki sauce and mix all of that up. That'll be really delicious and super healthy. And that is it for my third meal prep, and those are all the meal preps that I did. It took me about 2 hours to do all of these meal preps. Keep in mind it was filming, so that takes a little bit longer also. But I would set aside probably around an hour and a half for this meal prep, but it is a ton of food. You will have plenty of food for all of your meals. I think the tabbouleh would be really good on top of one of the steaks that you made, and you could just sort of cut it up. I think that'll be so good. Maybe a little bit of ranch sauce, because you can add ranch to anything and it'll be good. But I hope you guys enjoyed this meal prep video, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.